Afternoon Karak with Aisha Al-Mazmi and Mikhail Atiyah
on Pulse 95.
I think Mikhail is incredibly happy. We are back.
I'm at peace. I feel for a long time I needed to hear this song. And I can't believe it's also been a year since I played it. But I'm glad we're back at it again. Full circle. It's September.
It is definitely September. I just want to give you guys an update to my do you remember my whole issue with buying stuff all the way back on Sunday?
Ever since I met you, you know.
No, that's not what I meant.
Yes.
I meant
last week.
No, it was Sunday. Goodness.
A Floridian slip.
I'm this close just walking out of the studio, Mikhail. You keep on, we just started. It's barely been 1 minute into the show. And we're already... This is happening. What happened to the Dream Team?
There is Dream Team, but there's also Drama Team. You know, a little drama in there.
A little drama. There's been a lot more Drama Team than Dream Team, to be honest. Mikhail, what is going on? Should we be having sort of intervention, going to, I don't know, friendship therapy or
if there is
therapy?
If there is.
Because I feel like we should at this point, honestly.
I wonder if there's some sort of presenter's discount, you know?
Presenter's discount. I honestly, maybe. Who knows? I mean, maybe we can be like, hey, it's very important to our show that we fix this friendship. Otherwise, the whole show will fall apart because what is the Afternoon Karak if it's not the Dream Team?
You're absolutely right, which is why I'd love to hear your story.
Thank you, Mikhail. So my story, it was just an update, basically, to Sunday. How, remember the whole thing, the app crashing and
yeah,
everything?
And you're trying to refresh and your car isn't showing up.
Exactly. So I tried it. Apparently, there was something wrong with the application because even throughout the night, the next day, it wasn't working. And I love the customer service. They're so nice. They called me up and they're like, hey, we noticed you have stuff in your car and nothing is happening. I was like, yeah, something is wrong with your application. And she was like, we'll send you a payment link instead. You can use it. And I was like, sounds good, but I did not buy anything.
But what happened
What
happened to the discount? Is it expired?
Yeah, it expired. It expired on Sunday. Monday it expires. But my point is, I didn't buy anything. I don't know why. I just kept on looking at it, and then I was like, I feel a little bit discouraged. I blame them a little bit because of the app crashing. If the app wasn't crashing, I would have bought it
Then you would have fed into your impulse and bought it.
It wasn't impulse. I mean, it's not impulse because I haven't bought clothes for... Okay, I bought clothes last week. I bought a couple of pair of pants. A really cool pair of pants. That's not the point.
You do you.
But I just needed some kind of nice dresses. I don't have any. I don't know about you guys, but I have those moments where I look at my stuff and I'm like, I don't feel like they work anymore. So this is the time when it's most likely I'm going to be sending them off for donation and maybe buy a couple of new statement pieces here and there. So I'll keep you guys updated about whether I make up my mind about buying this stuff or not.
I'm in the same boat as you, but instead of dresses, it's board games. There's always a board game, a new edition that's out there, and I'm like, should I spend my entire salary on this or not?
The answer is yes sometimes, but no sometimes.
Yes sometimes, no sometimes.
Yeah.
But just like you, I'm constantly just window shopping until my impulse kicks in.
Exactly, the impulse kicks in. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And what you guys should be doing is tuning into the Afternoon Karak. We've got a fun-filled hour for you guys. We're gonna be talking about DC FanDome. It's returning once again next month in October. We're also gonna be talking about CD Projekt Red. Basically, they're hiring community modders to work on Cyberpunk 2077, probably to clean up the entire mess, and also because the devs probably left the actual company.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, it is quite the roadmap until the game is actually playable. Another interesting news, we know that GTA 6, still no announcements from Rockstar, but one man went out of his way, desperately invading a game show in Germany, just screaming, where is GTA 6?
We understand those sentiments, so we're going to be talking about this and so much more only here on the Afternoon Karak. So make sure you are staying tuned and staying locked to Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
DC FanDome was returning in October, hopefully bearing lots of gifts, lots of new announcements and trailers. And apparently, according to some guests, this live stream will probably include looks at the Batman, the upcoming Matthew Reeves movie, Gotham Knights, and so much more.
I mean, it's about time. This movie was actually supposed to come out this October, but they're delaying it for next year, unfortunately. Definitely waiting for a new official trailer for The Flash, because that movie is going to be a game changer. It's definitely going to introduce some of the Flashpoint Paradox plots and multiverse stuff. Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom sequel with starring Jason Momoa.
Yeah,
you can't get enough. You can't get enough more of the Momoa. You know,
absolutely not. But I feel like the most important, or the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, is Black Adam, because I feel that's the movie that's been under wraps a lot. Even though I believe filming has wrapped up or is in the process of wrapping up for quite a while now, so I cannot wait to find out more about it, because it's just very mysterious. I want to know more about what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is doing. What is that movie about? Maybe we're going to get our first teaser trailer.
Oh, yeah. And Gotham Knight, we've gotten some gameplay footage a while back. We understand what it's going to be about. But Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. In the hype of the recent Suicide Squad, I want to see this game in action. What is it going to play like? Is it an open world or is it semi-open? How are the cooperative elements of this game? And are we actually killing the Justice League? And how do they work as bosses? Like if you're fighting against Superman and Batman and such. So definitely excited for that.
Absolutely, especially that game. I mean, I haven't been really interested in a lot of DC games, but when it comes to DC games, they're pretty good. I mean, from the Batman series, the Gotham Knight series, I mean, even the fighting games, they are so good. And the way they've been hyping them up, just giving us a little bit every once in a while, is making me just crave a lot more trailers. I want to see more gameplay. I want to see a lot more from those. And DC FanDome will be returning on the 16th of October, so a little bit over a month from now. And hopefully they're going to be revealing something new here and there. And I hope they can maybe somehow explain a little bit about what is happening within the DCEU, as in how is the extended universe working. We know that they're kind of going for a multiverse, and perhaps The Flash is going to officially kick that off. But maybe they can formally explain it to all the fans as to properly what is exactly happening. We know that the Batman movie is going to be a standalone. There are going to be some other shows and movies that will connect to it, but also they just feel very like
disjointed.
Exactly. We get it that it's a multiverse, but this isn't even within a universe that contains multiverses. They just feel like completely different, disjointed islands that are too far away from each other. So we hope we can get some explanation on that as well, and not just hyping up. And maybe, who knows, Justice League, Zack Snyder is coming back for part 2. I mean, there have been rumors that have been ongoing the entire year, especially with the success of this movie. So who knows? Wink, wink, maybe?
Wink, wink, indeed. DC FanDome, 16th of October. Keep that in your schedule because we'll be definitely giving you all of the highlights. Coming up next, we're talking about CD Projekt Red, as they are hiring a community of modders for Cyberpunk 2077.
Pulse 95.
Now, I feel like perhaps due to the fact that CD Projekt Red has some sort of bad reputation, especially within its own closed doors, and I believe a lot of developers had escaped that toxic environment a good while back, and then the release of Cyberpunk 2077, the controversy. So I feel like they're trying to cover the tracks and find more hands and arms and basically a whole load of new people to work on this game, especially since it is far from complete, as we have spoken about extensively in the past year. They have gone out and hired community mod makers to work on the game.
So this team of modders, they're named the Yigsoft team. They're well known in the community as the people behind a open source project called Wolvenkit. And basically, this is a modding tool set that can be used for the Red Engine games. And Red Engine games are anything from The Witcher 3 as well as Cyberpunk 2077. And so they're hired to basically refine the toolkit, the modding toolkit for the community, and to any developer out there who wants to jump in and mod the game, which is something they already do on Witcher 3. For example, another big community workshop is Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
Oh yeah, definitely.
With a lot of people stepping in, they're creating their whole own gaming experience through the engine of Skyrim. So I guess you can sort of think of it as an example. But a lot of people are looking at this as like, well, this is probably the developers themselves, CD Projekt Red, just letting modders fix their own game, and that's where some of the bad criticism comes from.
Exactly. Like, I understand that it appears that, like, maybe in an ideal world where this entire controversy never happened, it feels like, they're fully aware of their fans' wants and their needs, and they're aware of the community, so they're giving out like a helping hand, or basically a way to collaborate between the community.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, it just feels that they really needed people to work on this team and this project, and they're like, hey, let's call somebody who we know for sure knows what they're working on, and would probably be like a good publicity stunt as well.
Well, it's not entirely a bad thing. There is potential for this to create a quality of life improvements for the game. Things that with the toolkit that modders can do, the developers could actually utilize in the base game, and I hope that they get compensated accordingly for that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if I don't think it's volunteering work. If it is, then CD Projekt Red did not learn anything.
And I think another aspect to this is that they want to extend the longevity of the game itself. With mod support, a game can last for many, many years. Example is Skyrim, or even Command & Conquer Generals. People modding those type of games, and a decade long still, people are making all sorts of mods for them. So I think it's a really good decision, and in a way, I'd like to believe that this is a right direction coming from CD Projekt Red, but that roadmap is still pretty long until I can finally step into Cyberpunk 2077 and play it for the first time.
Yes, I think a lot of people have lost faith in the game, myself included, but there are people who are holding on until this game is eventually fixed, hopefully sooner rather than later. There is some sort of, we're not really sure if it's actual news or if it's a rumor, but we're going to treat it as a rumor. So rumor has that Shawn Mendes boards Legendary's Life is Strange series as an executive producer. Coming up next right here on the Afternoon Karak.
This is Pulse 95.
I think every single video game player can easily name at least 1, 2, or 3 games that they've been waiting for just it's a crazy amount of time, and they're just still waiting for that game. For example, I was waiting for Ruin Factory 5 for nearly 10 years, and then when the announcement came out of nowhere, I lost it. So we understand the frustration that can happen for any video game player, even when it comes to film enthusiasts, song enthusiasts. I mean, everybody's been waiting for Rihanna to release an album for God knows how long. So it's a common thing. We get it. But we also do not condemn invading a game show and just yelling, "Where is GTA 6?"
Okay, so this is a very interesting story. There's a German celebrity challenging game called Beat the Star. And a recent episode, there was this German guy who invaded the stage and just started babbling about Grand Theft Auto 6. I have the script here. Somebody translated it, and he says, guys, GTA. Yeah, there it is. He says, maybe one day, please look at the camera, scream all at once, where is Grand Theft Auto 6? The moderator, who's the host, says, no, I don't need that. I didn't even finish GTA 5 yet. And then the moderator says, is he being paid by Take-Two, or is he publishing that game? And then that's when the security guard came in and they took him out. And so now that's where the theory is is this some weird guerrilla marketing stunts from Rockstar?
Maybe.
Or is this just someone who's just going crazy out of his mind, waiting 8 years for some kind of announcement?
I mean, wouldn't you feel the same way he's feeling?
If God of War 2 gets delayed again, then perhaps, yeah.
You're gonna
I
be
can see the
invaded.
desperation.
Just like walk in during the morning majlis and just yell, where is GTA 6 or where is God of War 2? Come on, give it to me. I mean, I
Halas
get
at
it.
that point. Oh, I do that too.
understand.
If No Time to Die
Yeah.
gets delayed
One more
another time, we're gonna have an hour special here on the afternoon cut.
It's not gonna be an hour special. It's gonna be an hour rant.
I'll be like, Aisha, take the day off. I'm gonna take care of this hour.
I don't blame you. I mean, I get it. Like, there are so many things that get delayed for hopefully, good reasons. But there are also some stuff that are out of the creators, developers, studios' hands. And sometimes it's just the executives. They're like, we don't care about it enough. So we get the frustrations. But luckily, I'm getting Ruin Factory 5 very, very soon. So that's good news for me. But tell us, text us 4215 Salat or do tell us about that video game, that movie, that album that you've been waiting for way too long, maybe even a novel. I mean, George R.R. Martin, him and his delays.
The Winds of Winter book. Still waiting on it.
So we know that there's so many similar things that are happening within the world that we understand the frustration. So share those frustrations with us 4215 Etisalat or do. But again, do not cut off people and like break into shows. That's not a good thing.
Don't be a buzzkill.
Don't be a buzzkill. Unless again you're being paid for it. That is different. If that theory is true. We're gonna be taking a short break and we're gonna be talking about a attempt to steal a Monet painting. Everybody knows Monet. I mean, a Monet painting is priceless. It's expensive. It's beautiful, gorgeous, etc. But the thieves made not a grave mistake, but an incredibly silly mistake that I feel like if they go to jail, or when they go to jail, they're gonna get bullied for it. Coming up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Not in the news?
Not in the news. Weirdness that happened
Today.
True story.
I have this incredibly bad habit that some people have looked at me, they're like, Aisha, what is wrong with you? But if I see anybody chirp, including myself, even if I trip, I will start laughing. No matter who it is.
Yeah.
I just automatically, anybody who trips, obviously not babies, because babies can barely walk. But I mean, like, if I trip, somebody trips in front of me, or somebody, like, nearly trips, I start laughing. So
It's probably a weird coping mechanism.
It's very weird, but I cannot help it. It just looks funny. But I feel like when I came across the story, I saw it and I was like, if I was there, if I see this like unfolding in front of me, I am gonna start laughing incredibly hard because one, they're trying to steal a Monet painting, which I'm pretty sure there's a lot of security, infrared cameras, and I don't know, maybe like Mission Impossible, those laser beams. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's well protected. So one, they were very ambitious. Two, again, museums. I know that apparently museums sometimes put fake paintings in place of the actual paintings to prevent theft. But my point is, there's really high security, and it's not just some random museum. It's a Dutch museum, so it's probably again well protected. So they were incredibly ambitious. I cannot, stress this enough. And then they drop the painting.
This is one of those.
Comedic.
It's comedic.
Like a cartoon.
Exactly. Something out of a movie, but it's real life. So basically what happened, as the men were trying to escape, there was a bystander who actually intervened. And so in the scuffle, they dropped the painting and just ran out of there. Which I'm like,
abort
thinking,
mission, abort
mission, but like at least take the painting with you.
Take the painting. I mean, they heard gunshots, so they do have the artillery, even though we do not condemn it, guys. We're not saying that they should have shot at anybody. That's not our point.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you're already terrifying enough. How is it that somebody intercepting you was enough for you to be like, you know what, I do not care about this anymore? If you were unsure about this whole mission in the first place, why are you going for it anyway? Why are you trying to steal a Monet from a well-known Dutch museum?
You're risking so much, you might as well put the effort for unpredictable factors like that. I can imagine they probably planned this heist for a month on end. They probably went into that museum multiple times. They have the blueprints. They planned it out. They watched The Italian Job 10 times on Blu-ray. You'd think that the very thing that you're going after, you might as well put a little effort. You might as well go take the extra step to acquire the thing before you leave.
We're not giving tips and hints on how to steal paintings. We're just incredibly disappointed. And again, even despite the fear, maybe if I see them trip and run, I will probably still start laughing at them very hard.
$1 million mistake, that's what I see.
It's over $1 million mistake, so it is.
That's gonna hurt a little.
And they're probably on the watch out for them and probably gonna get into big trouble over nothing. Text us 4215 Salat or 2. If you are those thieves, what would you have done? Taken the painting and run? Or just left them? Mikhail and I often...
We're talking hypothetically here.
Hypothetically, please don't steal any paintings, especially not a Monet. But Mikhail and I often talk about how when you're at that moment, you would do unpredictable things. So are you guys on my side or Mikhail's side? He believes that no, she can always somehow manage to do the right thing despite the feeling of high stakes and the anxiety, etc. But I think that, like I said, sometimes when you're really anxious, you're going to make some really stupid mistakes. We're going to be taking a short break, and coming up next, apparently Alicia Keys has adapted Girl on Fire, her well-known, very famous song, into a young adult novel. Coming up next, right here on the Afternoon Karak.
Pulse 95.
Mikhail and I have often spoken about how basically all forms of media have been converging. Like, we've been seeing music. Obviously we hear music, and then they got turned into feature movies. The latest one coming from Halsey, for example. And I always talk about Lemonade. It's okay, I'm not going to talk about Lemonade this time. We're going to move on from that. But basically what I'm trying to say is that we see those various
hybrid
media
entertainment.
Exactly. Again, we had The Green Knight becoming a tabletop game. So it was just converging, lots of interesting projects happening. And now we're seeing the same thing happening with Alicia Keys as she's adapting Girl on Fire into a young adult graphic novel.
Okay, this is really nice because the song in itself is very profound. It tells the story of a mother who believes that her child, it's just almost like her mother telling her child that you don't have anything to worry about because you are the flame, you are the very thing that is going to do anything that she wants. And to translate that same feeling into a graphic novel, I think is really great, which is also something that is very much needed. There's always these stories, child book stories, children's stories that tell some sort of lesson or some sort of morale. But being a graphic novel means that this is a book for everybody.
HarperCollins publishers announced that Girl on Fire is going to be the story of a 14-year-old Lolo Wright and her telekinetic powers, and it'll be coming out in March. I'm loving the whole superhero comics. I know they existed beyond Marvel and DC. I'm fully aware of that. And the thing is, not a lot of people are aware of that because DC and Marvel have taken the entire graphic novel market by a storm for a very, very, very long time. That even before the MCU and the DCEU, and even before the X-Men movies back in the early 2000s and the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and even the earlier versions of Batman movies, people still were mostly aware or, just know about Superman, Batman, they know about Spider-Man, they know DC and Marvel characters only. So they have basically monopolized the market for a very long time. But then we're seeing all these new adaptations, especially, for example, we've got The Umbrella Academy, we've got Omni-Man, and all those interesting stories that are being put on the spotlight about superheroes, or at least the struggle of being a superhero. Goodness, The Boys, etc. So those are just very interesting, and I'm loving that I'm seeing a lot more different takes on them, especially by other people. Gerard Way and The Umbrella Academy, that's a very good example. And also that we're also focusing on younger kids and basically using the imagery or the how the whole thing of struggling with powers as a metaphor with struggling as a teenager.
Alicia Keys says in a statement that when Andrew and I came up with the idea of translating the song into a young adult graphic novel, I knew that I wanted it to be about a girl coming to realize the strengths that she's always had. There's a little Lolo in all of us. We all have the power inside to do what we never thought we could ever do. And I'm so proud and excited to be able to share her story to all of you.
Very excited for this to come out. Maybe we can review it when it eventually comes out on the 1st of March.
If it doesn't sell out.
If it doesn't sell out, but they just need to push it a lot more. But I don't think that's going to be very hard if they do the right things, because the story is very interesting. And again, it comes out on the 1st of March, 2022. We're going to be taking a short break. Our last segment is coming up. Aisha and Mikhail suggest, so stay tuned for that.
You're listening to Pulse 95.
It's almost 5 p.m.
That was Afternoon Karak. For dessert,
Aisha and Mikhail suggest.
From a Highs Gone Wrong to a game show gone wrong. If you missed out on any of our discussions, be sure to tune in to our YouTube channel because we'll have our shows uploaded episodically over there. You can subscribe to our channel on Pulse 95 Radio. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. As well as podcast alternatives, we have Afternoon Karak available on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and Rami. Just type in Afternoon Karak and enjoy. And now to wrap up the hour with a final suggestion, courtesy of Aisha Almazmi.
Okay, so I want you guys to listen carefully. My suggestion is for you to guys get a mandolin. And I'm not talking about the instrument, okay? I'm talking about the kitchen utensil. Have you ever heard of it?
Now, I have not heard about it until I checked it on Google and I kind of figured it out. But I can see why it's such a great instrument to have in the kitchen.
Let me tell you, initially when I kept seeing people use it, including, you know, well-known chefs, etc., people like in commercial kitchens, they just always use this. And I was like, why would they use it? And then I keep seeing it more and more and more, and it's been years. I'm not even joking. It's been years of me just watching them and going like, I need it. And it's so easy to get. It is literally everywhere. You can go to a co-op. You can go to any sort of hypermarket, supermarket. You can order it online on Amazon, Noon, wherever you can buy it. It's literally just, it's everywhere. So I'm just trust me, guys. Go ahead and invest in a mandolin because it is super helpful and it's gonna make your life easier and it's just gonna look so much better. So once again, guys, invest in a mandolin. Very easy to buy, very easy to use. Just make sure you get the ones with the safety on it because you can easily slice off your hand if you do not get a good one. And with that, we wrap up and pass on the baton to none other than Big Cass from Yellow Home. So stay tuned and stay locked to none other than Pulse 95.
if you liked this episode of Afternoon Karak, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.